welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Allmark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today I thought I'd come on and show you what I'm going to do with. I have made two little centerpiece toppers. So this one is for a girl, and it's got for you on it, and then it's got a little jar of it can be face cream moisturizer, some little girl's jar, a beautiful little butterfly and some flowers on that side, so little jars of loveliness. Then this one is going to be a masculine card because it's got outward bound camping orienteering. So you've got a little box of a little jar of matches, some sticks to start your fire with, and foraging, collecting the mushrooms as you go foraging in your camping trip. So I thought I would make a female and a masculine card with these. Now, you might ask me, where did I get these tiny little pieces from? Well, there is some designer series paper called Monster Bash. Designed for Halloween's, got lots of lovely things in, and I actually got it because I really loved these, says me trying to get the piece out. I really loved these characters here. I thought they were absolutely lovely. So I wanted that to put on to take the little tags and put them on lots of things. But I knew that I wasn't going to use all of the paper because in the UK we don't do a huge amount for Halloween. However, this, I thought the little apothecary jars were absolutely lovely because you've got some really sort of, yes, you've got Halloween ones and things like that, but you've got little jars with leaves, you've got butterflies, you've got, you know, things that you can use not just for Halloween. So that was my thought process. And so I fussy cut out just a couple of pieces. And I've created these toppers. However, I want to make something a little bit more exciting around the back. So I thought that I would get out the new basic pattern decorative masks. Now, I really like stencils or masks, whatever you want to call them. But they have some absolutely lovely... Let me get them out of here so we can have a look at them. I've done a few bits and pieces with them already, but not a huge amount. So we've got this one, which is a rather sort of lovely filigree type pattern, which I thought was really pretty. So that would work beautifully for the girl card or female card. Spots and dots, great for doing ombre effect and things like that. So that's a nice one. Don't want to use that for this one. There's this one, which is sort of leaves, so could be foresty. Maybe that might work quite nicely. And there is this one, which is sort of trees. Now, I think that might work really well as well for the masculine card. So, I'm going to try with this one to start off with, actually. So if you take the mask, there is always sort of a slightly smoother compared to a... there's a front side and a back side with these. If you feel them, one side will be slightly smoother. You want that side to be your front piece. Now, I'm turning it over because I want to lay my card on here first. I found that's the easiest way to line it up and get it straight where I want it. So I want them just sort of coming off to the top and the bottom. And then I take little pieces of washi tape. Now, I've got lots of washi tape that is retired. And what I do is I wait until it is really non-sticky, or as non-sticky as it can get. So I use it a few times, and then I use that to just literally secure the mask down underneath. And that works really well. So we'll just put one on all four sides. So let's get this other piece up. And we'll just put that one down in on there like that. Okay, so it then means that we can turn it over and you've got the mask beautifully positioned where you want it and it's not going anywhere. So let's move these two pieces out of here. So this is going to be the masculine one. And because I've chosen crumb cake on here, I think I'm going to choose crumb cake and soft suede. So let's get the crumb cake out to start with. Take a sponge dauber, ink it up quite well, and then just sponge it through. I think I've got some other ink on this, but never mind. And what I like to do is to you can do it with whatever you want. So you can do it with sponge daubers. I find that our little sponges work really well because they are they're quite sort of nice and forgiving. So you don't have to worry too much. Whoops, you do have to be careful with this one because it's quite tiny little pieces. So just almost sort of dab on it. If you're doing it up and down, which I would do on quite a few masks, just be aware that it is, because it's got so many bits cut out of it to give these branches, it is it's a little bit more difficult to work on than a mask that hasn't got as much surface area cut out. So you've got little tiny pieces, so just be careful that you don't catch them. But as I say, just sort of work it down. And I'm doing it all in the crumb cake to start off with, and then I'm going to add some of the soft suede in there, because I think that will work quite nicely as well, and just sort of team it up. But as I say, these little pieces here, do be careful because they aren't, there's a lot of area cut out, so it means that the mask is going to, as you can see, it catches a little bit, so just take it slowly. I'm doing it far quicker than I would do it if I was doing it without a camera rolling, because then you know that you're getting it quite gently, and you're not going to pick up the things. Now I'm going to take some soft suede, and I'm going to put the soft suede just in little pieces, not sort of overly everywhere, but just to give a little bit of sort of tonal difference in there. So I'm just sort of bring it down through the center, as I say, to give just a little bit of a tone on this mask. We'll have to see how it comes out, but as I say, I'm just experimenting with this one to see what it looks like. I always think that, you know, when you get new product, it's nice to have a bit of a play with it and see what we think. Okay, so we can take this off now very carefully. So all we need to do is to just remove these pieces. I'm going to just put them onto my little top down here. So just peel them off carefully, and we'll have a look and see what this background's come out like. I think it should be quite good. We'll have a little, just have a little look in a minute and see. So if we turn it over and take it off, oh yes, that's rather nice, isn't it? So you've got this lovely sort of, you know, Mars tree background on there. So let's take our little piece and see if that will work as it is on there. So I've got that in the center. Yeah, that's quite nice. I still think I need something to just sort of darken it down a little bit. So what am I going to do to darken it down? I'm going to take, because I really do like, now I don't know whether I've used this one or not. No, that's a clean one. So on top of this, to just take the colour down a bit, let's take, we'll do the crumb cake to start off with because it's paler. And I do actually need to re-ink some of these because they are quite, just inking it up nicely. And we'll just take this down on here to see if that'll just give it, yes, that'll work quite nicely. Now because my ink pad does need re-inking, I can go straight onto it and it's not going to leave any lines. So now you could obviously do this in greens or blues or anything you'd like to, but I just wanted to keep it a fairly sort of simple background in there. And just by using the sponge rollers, it just takes the starkness out of the white, tones that background down quite nicely, and that's better. Yes, I like that. That's worked much better now. So we do need to just go round the edges, and I'm going to go round the edges in the soft suede because I want that to be a little bit darker. So let's take some of the soft suede and we're just going to go around the edges because it'll mute it down a bit and make it look not quite as stark. Oh, I really like this background. I think that's a really rather nice nice mask or stencil. I don't know what the difference is between a mask and a stencil. I think they're both exactly the same thing. You find them exactly the same thing. Sometimes they're called masks and sometimes they're called stencils. So they work exactly in the same way. They just have different names. If you know that there is a difference between a mask and a stencil, then please leave a comment below and let me know, because I'd love to know, because I think they're probably both exactly the same thing. So we're going to take this one and we're going to put that in on the centre, and that's then given my background. And then if I put it onto, just very quickly, because I'm probably going to add some other bits to it, but it was the background I wanted to show you. Yes, you see that makes a really nice sort of masculine card. I can then put a sentiment for whatever, whether it's going to be a birthday or whatever on there. But that works nicely, so I like that background on there. Now, we want to do one which is a little bit more feminine for this lovely little one here with the little jars and the pretties on there. So let's put that there, and we're going to take I want to use that really pretty florally one because I think that that's really rather lovely. So again, we've got a right side and a wrong side. We're going to put that down on there, and again we're just going to lay it on top just to make sure that it's fairly, or as level as you can get it. Take your little pieces of washi tape again and put them down. Say with masks, doing it this way, it just holds it down nicely, and it means that you can sort of pick it up and down and move it around if you want to, because sometimes I like to sort of mask or sponge straight. Sometimes I like to move my paper and things around. If you've masked it onto your work surface, it's then very difficult to be able to move it around and rotate it where you'd want it, whereas this allows me to do that, which, as I say, I quite often do. I like to get into to other areas. So let's make sure that that's down, which it is. We're going to take this again and we are going to do it in the crumb cake. Now I know that I've got a little bit of the soft suede on first, but that's fine. We're just going to ink that up and we're just going to go round. And this is far easier to work with because you can see that you've got a a larger surface area. The trees, you've got little tiny bits sticking out. This is far easier to work with. So take it round in the different colours. Just sponging it through as we go. Of course, with masks like this, you can do them in all sorts of different colours. They look nice in rainbows, but it means that you can tone everything in. If you turn around and go, oh, I haven't got a piece of, which is exactly what I did. I've got some designer series paper, the neutrals, in 6x6, but I didn't really want spots or writing or whatever. I wanted something that was just a little bit different. So this is where taking out your masks or stencils and working through with those, you can tone in whatever colour you want. If you want a rainbow, if you want, you know, as I say, whatever colour you want to do. Now you see again, it means without sticking it down, I can actually turn it round and just work to the other side. Because I'm right-handed, I like to work from the right side, and even though it's stuck down, I am holding it a little bit with my hand. So and I'm going to do exactly the same as I did on the other one. So I'm starting with the light, and I think I've probably got it all through now. So I've started with the light, and then I'm going to take it in with the soft suede, and I'm just going to do some over the top of it, because I quite like when you've got two different colours going on, because it just adds a little bit of variation. And again, you can do it fairly sort of easy. You don't have to work about getting into the areas. You're just sort of giving it just a little bit over the top so that it gives you a bit of light and dark. Now obviously you can use paste, so you can use masking or stenciling paste, textured paste on there, and then take colours and things over the top. But I really like the patterns on these ones. I think they're really very pretty. So let's take this off and see what we've got on here. Oh yes, that's nice. So you can see, let me just put that out of the way, just put them in the sink and run them under the tap and wash them that way. Let's put those back on there, because I'll get some more use out of that. My motto, waste not, want not. So I'll pop those over there. There we go. And then we can have a look at this one. You see, now I really love that. I like the way that you've got the variegated patterning. So some of it's darker, some of it's lighter, and it gives those little tones, which are really rather nice. Now I am going to sponge again around the edges, because I think it, particularly with this one, as there's quite a lot around the edges, I think that it'll work quite nicely to do that. So I'm going to take this one round here, and I'm doing it with, you can do it with the sponge daubers, or you can do it with a sponge. If you want a finer line round the edge, I would use the sponge daubers. The sponge allows you to just really sort of feather it through nicely, which is what I really like. So I tend to use it with this, because as I say, it feathers it through nicely and gives you a lovely piece. So let's put that there. Take that out of the way. I'm going to turn this paper over, because we don't want it all messy on that side. So we've got two pieces like this, that one and that one. Now you can mat those. Let me just put this one on here like that. You see, I like it just coming through with just on the white like that. Let's have a look at this one just with a mat behind it. Masculine cards, I don't tend to put too much fanciness on them. However, I would put a sentiment down at the bottom, and I will do something more on it, excuse me, just to make it look a little bit better. But I really like it with the trees. I think that that will work well. This one, I think, is going to look very pretty. And let me just fold that in, and just put that on there for now to see. I might do a mat on there. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see at the end. But that's going to go in the centre like that. Now, what I have done, I've got some little... Now, they're from the... let me find that... Here it is. The Butterfly Beauty Thinlit dies. Amazing butterflies. There's lots. There's every shape from the tiniest to the largest. And I've just die cut a few of the teeny weeny ones because I thought that that might look quite nice. Just taking it up because we've got the little butterfly on there. So if we just put the butterflies just sort of coming up out, and I've taken it in exactly the same crumb cake so it sort of tones in. I could have taken it in something else, so but there's enough sort of little white spaces on this mask that you can just sort of tuck them in where you want, have them floating up. We could have one actually in on here maybe, yeah, which would look quite nice, and then take the other one sort of up. So that sort of feel, you could make it sparklier, so you could die cut them out of some of our glimmer paper, something like that. Whoops. But I think that put that on here again is the start of a very nice card. So play around with it. Let's take that out of the way, but play around with it. You've got some pretty ideas. So we've got this one and we've got that one, very totally different feels just using the stencils. So I'm going to carry on and do some more ideas. You'll probably see that as the front cover once I've loaded the video and everything, because you normally see the sort of the finished article. But I just thought I would come on and say that these stencils are really, really good. They are incredibly inexpensive. You get lots of them, and they're fun for playing around and doing all sorts of things with. So thank you so much for watching me. Do look forward to seeing you again. Bye bye.